Hi friends, this is Sophia. Today we are going to understand about objects. Yes, the world of objects. At the end of the presentation, we will understand what is object-oriented programming, the OOP languages, fields, methods, object, class, constructor, and do a program. To understand this concept in very well manner. So what is OOPs? Object oriented programming. Object oriented programming, is it a programming language? Yes? No, it is not a programming language. Yes, object oriented programming is not itself a language. Always remember. Object orientation is referred as a programming paradigm, a model based on the concept of objects. Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm, a model. It is a set of ideas that is supported by many other languages, but it itself not a language. The core concept of the object-oriented approach is to break complex problems into smaller objects. Yes, what is the core concept of object-oriented approach? To break complex problems into smaller objects. So, what is those languages that supports the concept of object-oriented programming? Java, C++, C#, Python, R, PHP, VB.NET, JavaScript, all these are Ruby, Objective-C, Dart, Kotlin, etc. These languages are supporting the object-oriented programming concept. Yes, and here I am explaining through the language of Java. Yes, which support this object-oriented programming concept. So, what is an object in computer program? So, before knowing that, I am asking, what is an object in real world? What is an object in real world? An object is an entity in the real world that can be distinctly identified. Yes, you and I all are human, but we are distinctly identified. Banana tree, lemon tree, papaya tree, all those are trees, but they are different, unique. Some properties, some behavior are similar, but some attributes are similar, but they are not the same tree. Is it? Is banana tree the papaya tree? No. So, an object is an entity in the real world that can be distinctly identified. So, now let's come to the understand through programming languages. So, objects have states and behaviors. Like in real world, we have some behavior, you have some behavior. We are all human. I have one nose, you have one nose. I have two eyes, you have two eyes. We see some similar, but you are not similar. Okay, you are different, unique in our own way. Like that, objects have states and behaviors, and they are unique, different. In other words, they consist of methods and attributes, which we call also field, also properties, to make a particular type of data useful. Let's come to the fields. The fields of an object are all data variables that make up that object. They are also sometimes referred to as attributes or member variables. These fields are usually made up of primitive types like integer character, but they can also be objects themselves. Example, a book. Your book is an object that contains this fields: title, author, number of page. So title, so the type is string, author string type, and number of page is int, it's an integer. So assessing and setting fields. How do we assess these fields? Using the dot modifier. Yes, assessing a field in an object is done using dot modifier. Example, to assess title of the object called book that contain field like title, author and number of page, we would use book.title dot modifier. We can store it in a string variable. Yes, we store the value in a string variable like string my book title equal to book.title semicolon, or use it directly as a string itself and perform operation like printing it. System.out.println book.title inside the bracket semicolon. Here is the book title. Setting fields. We can set the value in the field using assign operator like book.number of page is equal to 234. Okay, so how many pages are there? 234. Methods. So what is method in Java? Method in Java are functions that belongs to a particular object. So we in other languages we call it function. In Java we call it methods. It is a program procedure that can return a value. It perform an action, it perform an operation. Also it return a value, that can return a value. So how do we call a method? We call a method using some dot modifier. Methods, just like any function, can also take in arguments. Yes, we can take arguments here. Example, the same book object has a method called setBookmark. Okay, that book object has a method called setBookmark. We can write it as void setBookmark int page number. This is an argument. The parameter. Okay, here we pass the argument. But this is the parameter. If you wanted to set a bookmark at page 12, you can call the method setBookmark using dot operator and pass the value as an argument like book.setBookmark 12. The number it pass the value. Fields and methods. Fields and methods together are what make an object useful. An object has fields and methods. Fields store the object's data, and a method is a block of code or procedure that can be called to perform some actions to use or modify those data, and it may return a value. However, some objects might have no fields and are just made of a bunch of methods that perform various actions, and other objects might only have fields that act as a way to organize storing data but not include any methods. So what happens in some objects we have no fields, only a bunch of methods are there which perform the operation, and in some other cases we have no methods but we have field and we can perform the operation. So these fields and methods together are very useful in object. So an object is a real world entity that has attributes, behavior and properties. So what are the attributes? What is the behavior? Let's know. Example, identity. Olivia's coffee mug is the name of the object. Olivia's coffee mug. This you can see diagram here. This is the name. Attribute is the coffee mug have color, size, and another attribute I take fullness. Full or empty is a fullness. And behavior, fill. You can fill the coffee mug with coffee. It is empty. It is clean or dirt. So I took here two methods: fill, empty, and clean. So this is the name, this is the attribute, and this is the behavior. So object is referred to as an instance of the class. We will learn very soon about the class also. So object is referred to as instance of the class. Objects are created from classes at runtime. So what are the class? Are you excited to know about class? Yes, let's see. So before that, let's know the syntax of the object. How do we create an object? We can declare the object using class name, object, semicolon, then same obj equal to new, same class name. This instantiates the object, or we can combine these two lines, both the statement, into one as follows: class name object equal to new class name. Right? This is same. These two names, class name are same. And this is a constructor. Okay, we will know about it in later. So what is class? What is class? A class is the detailed description, the definition, the template of what an object will be. So how the object will look, what an object is, that we can know from the class. But class is not the object itself. So remember this. What is a class? A class is the detailed description, the definition, the template, the blueprint of what an object will be, how the object will looks. Okay, but it is not an object itself. Once we have written a class and defined it, we can use it to create as many objects based on that class as we want. Yes, once we have written a class, once you have a blueprint, you can create as many objects as you want from that blueprint, right? So a class is a code template for creating program object. Here is the circular object class. So from this circular object we can create so many objects of that shape: object 1, object 2, object 3, and each one is distinct. Okay, so what is a class? A class is a blueprint, a template. So let's take a real world example. Here I take an example. We can say classes are like our collections of cookie cutter. You can see there is a cookie, different shapes cookie cutters are there. So this is one class, this is another class, this is another class, and a circular cookies cutter would be the class to create circular cookies, and it is different shapes, sizes. but the cutter itself is not cookies. Can we say the cutter is a cookie? No. And we only need this one circular cutter to create a tray full of round cookies, each a separate object ready for oven. Yes, each a separate object ready for oven. This is the blueprint we have. But these two classes is not same. So this is one size, this is another size. Okay, so class always come first, and different classes create different type of objects. If there is a heart shaped cookie cutter is there, then it can create heart shaped cookies. Okay, so the cutter itself is not cookies, means the class itself is not a object, but from the class we can create as many objects as we want. From the circular cookie cutter we can create a tray full of round cookies, and which is separate object. Okay, so how do we write class? This is a class diagram. This is a class diagram. It says class name, attributes and behavior. So name, what is it? Round cookie. Attribute, what describe it? It describe weight, color, icing. These are the types, data types. What can it do? Behavior means what it can do. You can decorate, consume it. Okay, we can decorate it, consume it. So these are the behavior. So this is a class diagram. First it describe the name, then attribute, then behavior. So in Java, classes can contain fields, constructors and methods. Classes can contain fields, constructors and methods. This is the fields, this is the method. It also contain constructor. We see while we do programming. So syntax of class in Java: class, class name. This is the class keyword, class name, curly bracket. Inside this is the fields. Here goes methods. So let's take an example. A Java class representing a car. This is a car. The name is car. Class name, attributes, type, model, color, speed, and methods: increase speed, play music. We can give a few more methods like decrease speed, stop music, so on. So here I took this attribute, these attributes and these methods. So how do we write in code? Class car, fields string, type string, model string, color, int, speed, and this is the constructor. Constructor is the same as class name. So this is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so here's the parameters are there, and this dot type equal to type, this dot model equal to model, this dot color equal to color, and here is the methods: int increase speed, there's the return the value, this dot speed, int increment parameter, this dot speed, then this dot speed plus increment. So here we convert this class diagram into code. So constructor, here we see the constructor. Car is a parameterized constructor. Constructor name is same as class name, it has no return type. Okay, so this Java class represent a car in general. So this is that same class. Here I have drew. So this is class car. So this Java class represent a car in general. We can create any type of car from this class. This is the car focus, always, and golf. Each one is distinct from each other. We use fields to hold the state and constructor to create objects from this class. Use fields to hold the state, okay, and constructor to create object from this class. Why you use constructor? We use constructor to create objects in the class. Every Java class has an empty constructor by default. Every class has an empty constructor by default. We use it if we don't provide a specific implementation as we did above. Here is how the default constructor would look for our car class. This is the default constructor, car bracket curly bracket start. Okay, this is a default constructor. There is no parameter. We will see in the program very soon. This constructor simply initializes all fields of the object with their default values. This constructor simply initializes all fields of the object. These are the fields, so all fields of the object with their default values. Strings are initialized to null and integer to 0. Strings are initialized to null and integer to 0. So now our class has a specific constructor because we want our object to have their fields defined when we create them. This is in this constructor. This is the car constructor. This is parameterized constructor. We have specific value. And when here we can write the default constructor too. In program I will explain you. So take the example of Java objects. Here object of a class are called instances. Object of a class are called instances. We create and initialize them with constructors. So with constructor we create and initialize them. Look, car focus equal to new car, and here we pass the argument to that constructor parameter. The Ford focus and red. This is type, model, and the color. Here we pass the parameter value, and here another car object, that is car oris. This is first one is focus, next one is oris, and third object is golf. Here type, model, color, and speed is there. First one Ford focus and red. Ford focus and red. Car oris, new car, type Toyota, model oris, color blue, and car golf. This is third object, new car, this one. Okay, so we create from the class car, we create three different objects, three type of car. Okay, so now we have created different car objects all from a single class. This is the point of it all, to define the blueprint in one place and then to reuse it then in many times in many places. So we have created the blueprint of car, then we create so many different car from that blueprint of the car. So far we have three car objects and they are all parked since their speed is 0. We can change this by invoking our increase speed method. Here we declare the increase speed method. So by calling it, we change the speed of the car. How do we call it? So different object. This car object, call it using focus dot increase speed, passing the value 10. The Aris, call it by Aris dot increase speed, passing 20, and golf dot increase speed 30. Now we have changed the state of our cars and they are moving at different speeds. Let's see the live demo of this class car. Okay, I am opening my Eclipse editor and we go through it in detail. So this is the class diagram of the car. Here I create the blueprint of the car and these are the different object of this class car, and I convert it into my code. Okay, converted into code. This is the Eclipse editor. I have already written the code to save the time. Here I do explain. Okay, so I have created 5 new Java project and create the Java tutorials Sophie, like that. You have we go create, then by right clicking on the source folder you go and create the package by giving the package name. Here my package name is com.sophia. Now by right clicking it, create class and give the class name, check it, publish static void main string args. This is the main method. Check it here, it automatically created with the help of this ID, and click finish. Okay, now let's go to the understand the program. Let's understand this program. So this is the class car. This is the field. I declare this field as private. This is the SS modifier. I will explain about SS modifier in my another video. Okay, so for now just understand, I declare it private. Okay, private means nobody from outsider can access it. Okay, if I keep the cookies in a cookie jar and cover its cap, can anybody from outsider access that cookie? No, without my permission they cannot access it. Like that, they have to do a request to me. Like that, when we use private SS modifier, we do a special request and access it. So here I make it private. I go about in more detail in another class. Okay, so just understand it. Private string type, this is the string data type, string type, private string model, private string color, private int speed. This is the instance variable. These are the instance variable, or we say field. This is the field variable. Now we generate non-parameterized constructor. How do we generate non-parameterized constructor? By right clicking here, source, go to generate constructor using fields, and by deselecting these all, you can generate non-parameterized constructor. So the next step, I generate non-parameterized constructor, that is public car, which I discussed earlier, the car, and this is another access modifier, public. Anybody can access. If I open the cookie jar, then anyone can access it and take the cookie without asking me. Okay, like that. And this is the parameterized constructor. The next step is I generate parameterized constructor. How do I generate? Same, go to source, generate constructor using fields, and now no need to change anything, just click generate. So this will generate parameterized constructor. And the third one, the next step is I generate getter and setter, and this is the request. Okay, that request, through this I can request please give me a cookie from the cookie jar, like that. Here I declare it public and generate getter and setter. Go to source, here there is generate getter and setter, click it, and you can select it and click on generate. Because I have already created it, that's why it is not showing anything there. Now I generate toString method. Same, go to source, generate toString method. Because I have already created, that's why it show the type com.sophia.car already contains toString method. Existing implementation will be replaced by newly generated one. Are you sure you want to continue? I say no. Okay, now I define my method increase speed. Here in my class diagram you can see increase speed method is there. Now I define it here, method increase speed. Then I define another method decrease speed. So what I have written in my increase speed, public int increase speed int increment. So these are access modifier. We return the value type int increase speed, this is the method. Int, the parameter is increment, we pass the value. Okay, here if increment is greater than 0, this dot speed plus equal to increment, as the output, it will show the output increment cannot be negative. Return this dot speed. And next another method I define, I not mentioned in this class diagram, that is decrease speed. So decrease speed, public int decrease speed int decrement. If decrement greater than 0 and decrement less than equal to this dot speed minus equal to decrement, and else it shows decrement cannot be negative or greater than current speed. So it return the value of int type, this dot speed. Then I define another method play music. It shows okay Google, play the music, and stop music. In the class diagram I did not mention it, but here I created this stop music method. Okay, okay Google, stop the music. Now we do access. How do we access? Through our main method of Java, that is inside the car type class. Okay, so from here we invoke all these value, access it, pass the argument of those parameters. Okay, here we instantiate object of the class car, instantiate the object of the car class. How do we instantiate? Car focus equal to new car, pass the parameter value Ford focus red. Okay, this is another car object. Car Auris equal to new car Toyota Auris blue, and another third one car golf new car. This the parameter value. And we here see these are the constructor which with the help of the constructor we create the object. Okay, car. This is the constructor. Next, now we assess the value of the class car using the dot operator. Okay, so first in object 1 car focus I show the output first car focus dot to string. Okay, I assess the toString method, then I assess these two methods, increase speed pass the value 19 and decrease speed pass the value 10. Here I use dot operator and assign this value to ISF, and here this value goes to this DSF, and so this output increase speed of 4 and ISF. Here I show the output, we can see. Then I assess the play music method using dot operator, car focus dot play music, car focus dot stop music. Like that I did it with the other two car object. Okay, here system dot out dot println car Auris dot toString int is a car Auris dot increase speed pass the value 40, car Auris dot decrease speed pass the value 10, assigned to DSA, shows the output car Auris dot play music, car Auris dot stop music. Like that I did with the third one. Let's run it and show the output. So these are the object car focus, car Auris, car golf, which is I created from the class car with the help of constructor. Okay, with the help of constructor I create the object. This is the class car. Okay, so this is class car is a blueprint. Okay, this is the blueprint, this is the model, this is the what we say, the detailed description, the template, how the object looks like. Okay, this is the class, and from where we create as many objects as we want. Car focus, car Auris, car golf, and so many cars we can create from the same. It's a template. Okay, so we all know about the difference between class and object. Now let's run the program. Run a Java application, right click there. Yeah, you can see the output. The first car type is Ford, model is Focus, color is red, speed is 0. So increase speed of 4 is 19, decrease speed of 4 is 9. Okay Google, play the music. And next one car type Toyota, model orange, color blue, speed is 0. Why the speed is 0? Let's see. Okay, we didn't pass the value or set the value to on this speed. Okay, let's change the toString method, remove it, and generate source, generate toString no speed, generate. Yes, it is written here. Because I didn't set the value of the speed, got it, and let's paste it here in this section. Save it and now run it. Right click, run as Java application. Yes, we can see here the type, model and color only. Ford, focus and red. Increase speed of Ford is 19, decrease speed of Ford is 9. Okay Google, play music. Here I give the value, pass the parameter like that. 19, the first object 19, decrease speed by 9. Here I gave the value 10. Okay, why it's such type of output? Let's to check. Let's fix this issue. I am generating the parameterized constructor again with this field, where let's go to source, generate constructor using field. In previous time I deselect the speed, now I am selecting it, generate. Okay, let's remove the super method and put it here in this section. Okay, now let generate the getter setter again. This is get request and set request. We request, we send request and getting request, set request and get request. Go to the source, generate getter and setter, color, model, speed and type, generate. Cut and paste it here. Okay, now again generate the toString method. Go to source, generate toString. Okay, the speed is selected, generate. Okay, done, everything is done. Now let's see what is the output value is okay or not. Here we declare the instance variable, the field based on which we generate the parameterized constructor, we generate non-parameterized constructor, we generate getter and setter, means we send the request. We generate toString method, done. We define the methods by increase speed, decrease speed, put the value, everything. Okay, this is the play music, stop music. Okay, let's see. Here we pass the value. Speed is 8. Here we pass value 9. Here we pass value 10. Here let 60, 80 and 70. Okay, save it, right click, run as Java application. Let's see what it shows. Yes, you can see the car Ford, model is Focus, color red, speed 80. Here the speed 60. In this car it is a Toyota, type Toyota, model is Auris, color blue, speed 60, and this is the output. Okay. Okay Google, play the music. Okay Google, stop the music. It assess this method through by using dot operator. So the above one is the class, the template, and from based on that template you create as many car as we want, but each car is distinct from other one by its color, by its type, by its model. Okay, so this is all about it. Let's conclude what we covered in this presentation. Okay, before I am closing this session, I am sharing with you that there are 4 fundamental ideas of OOPS which I am going to cover in my upcoming classes. There are 4 fundamental ideas in object oriented programming which keep in mind when creating the classes. What are those? Abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulation. I will cover it in my upcoming classes. These are the 4 fundamental ideas. We also call these ideas as the pillar of OOPS. Okay, so almost all we know what is object oriented programming, OOP languages, we discuss fields, we discuss methods, object, class, constructor, and so a program based on the concept. Okay, so if you have any query, then feel free to ask. Please comment in the comment box. This is all about the world of objects session. See you in the next class. Thank you.